Signora Merrill?
Yes.
Permit me to introduce myself. I am Inspector Fonseca of the Lisbon Police Department.
Yes.
It is my privilege to welcome you to Lisbon and to offer you my assistance in every way possible.
You're very kind. I wonder why.
Portugal is very hospitable, and we wish to make certain that our distinguished guests enjoy a pleasant sojourn without even the possibility of any unpleasant incident, if I make myself clear.
Very clear. Thank you.
Anything for the Claire?
Está bem.
Right. Bye-bye.
I imagine that we will meet from time to time while you are in Lisbon. You are stopping at the Estoril Palacio?
Yes. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
I am sure that a person of your intelligence will not do anything to hinder a hard-working official.
You can depend on that, Inspector. Come in.
I took the liberty of bringing up your passport, Mrs. Merrill.
Thank you. Well?
This is too valuable a document to entrust to strangers, even in a hotel like this. I wonder if you realize the significance of this little green book. Fully realize.
I fully realize that you're being obnoxious. Now, will you please give me my passport and leave?
Sylvia Merrill, tourist. Purpose of travel, pleasure.
Not pleasure, Mr. Norwood. You've seen to that.
It is illegal to make false declarations on a passport. If you do, I can pick it up.
You can't pick it up merely because you're suspicious.
That is correct, Mrs. Merrill. But we have more to go on than mere suspicion.
Is it a crime or a felony to tell the State Department that if they couldn't do anything about it, I would take matters into my own hands?
We explained to you the potentials of this situation, and you agreed to let us handle it through the proper channels, didn't you? Well, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You pawned $100,000 worth of jewels in New York City on April the 9th. On the 11th, you booked passage to Zurich on TWA. On the 14th, you went to Bergson & Sons on Kumsgarten, where you disposed of $150,000 worth of jewels. Then you booked passage for Lisbon.
Thank you very much for the financial report. But since when has the State Department become interested in my jewels, my money?
Since you started throwing monkey wrenches into our machinery.
But nevertheless, it is my money and they are my jewels. And I'm entitled to dispose of them in any way that I see fit. Thank you.
There is something to drink?
No, thank you. Oh, yes, a glass of water, please.
Water?
Yes.
May I join you?
You may not.
I believe the word is sans souci.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you. That is a fleur-de-lis, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, very nice. You're not going to drink that stuff.
Well, what does one drink around here?
Well, at least try a glass of Madeira or something.
Very well. Madeira, please.
Whiskey and soda with ice.
Madeira, whiskey and soda with ice.
That's right.
What do we got?
I understand you're an American.
Yes.
So am I.
Do you work for Mr. Mavris?
Yes.
What's his first name?
Aristide. What's yours?
Merrill. Mrs.
Oh. Well, mine's Evans, Mr. I understand you have an envelope for me.
I didn't bring it with me.
Oh? Well, just how do I get it?
You come to my room with me. Not now, later. I don't want to return for an hour or so. Have you had dinner?
She is.
I only know that my husband is still alive. Finally, I heard of this Aristide Mavris, and I was told that he could get my husband out, but for a price. And this is part of the price, and it's a very large one. I've never met Mr. Mavris.
Well, I have, and I know nothing about him.
What was your impression?
A crook.
I know that, but is he a reliable crook?
That I don't know.
I wish I could see him.
Well, it should be easy.
He doesn't think it's advisable.
Look, if I went to him and told him he wanted to bring the money in person, he'd probably think it advisable.
You don't think that he would call the whole thing off?
I don't know. How much is involved?
$250,000.
He won't call it off.
I think I'll take your advice, Captain. Will you telephone me here and let me know?
Sure.
Why the look?
I was just thinking. Your husband's a pretty lucky man.
Thank you.
Good night.
I should like to drink a toast to the person who created your gown, Mrs. Merrill. It's a perfect frame for a lovely picture.
Thank you.
I suppose I inherited my love of beauty from my father. He was a connoisseur of fine jewels and only stole the best. He preferred pearls and old jade above all else. A man of very delicate sensibilities.
You mean to say that your father was actually a thief?
We have been thieves for 6 generations, Mrs. Merrill. Very successful thieves.
Surely he's joking.
I don't think so.
Monsieur Mavros never jokes.
Well, we're about here headed due north. There's Sintra there. Have you ever seen the Palacio painted from Sintra?
No, I haven't.
Quite a sight.
Then I command you to take me there, my good captain.
On this ship, the captain gives the orders, not the mate.
I am not the mate.
Would you like to sign on?
You're on a happy ship?
No, strictly shellback and salty.
Well, I always did take my shellbacks with a grain of salt. I'll sign on.
Oh, I'd stow that shot. Right there.
Why is it that sailors always stow and people put?
Are you implying that sailors are not people, Mr. Mate?
That's debatable, sir.
And that's insubordination.
What's the penalty for that?
A month in the brig on bread and water.
What's the penalty for lying to the captain?
Loss of rank, downgraded to ordinary seaman.
Then you're looking at an ordinary seaman.
Of course, I might promote you back to mate if you told the truth.
Truth about what, for instance?
The truth about Sylvia Merrill.
Yes, I know.
I have arranged that he be brought here where it is comfortable and private.
Yes,
I assume that you have the balance of the fee
I have.
with you?
Yes.
Not now, dear lady. As they say in the States, COD, cash on delivery. Would you like some coffee?
No, thank you.
Some brandy?
No, thank you.
Something is troubling you.
No. No, not really.
You do me an injustice, dear lady. Tears leave a delightful brightness in the eyes. You have been weeping.
I have.
You have. Perhaps there's something I can do to make you happy.
I wonder.
You wonder what, Mrs. Merrill?
You once said that all men must die sometime.
I did indeed. But believe me, the idea did not originate with me.
You said that death can sometimes be a fortunate thing.
Am I correct in assuming that you want your husband back, but not alive?
Yes, Mr. Mavers.
Oh, my dear lady, you have restored my faith in my judgment of human nature. But why dead? Why didn't you simply leave him where he was?
Because I cannot touch any of his money without proof of his death. Positive proof. Or wait 7 years. And I don't propose to wait 7 years.
Now I understand why your State Department would have been inadequate.
Precisely. It must be almost 2 o'clock.
Mrs. Merrill, people, clever people, will be observing your reactions. You must exercise more control. There is, dear lady, in every human journey, a point of no return. This is yours.